El Salvador's largest and most secure prison, designed to hold up to 4,000 inmates, has become a stark symbol of the country's efforts to combat its notorious gang problem. For decades, gangs like Barrio 18 and MS-13 have terrorized the country through extortion, drug trafficking, and brutal killings. The country's high murder rate and pervasive fear among citizens demanded drastic measures, leading to the construction of this mega prison under the leadership of President Nayib Bukele. Bukele, a young and tech-savvy politician, leveraged his social media prowess to rise to power with a promise to crack down on gangs. His administration's aggressive approach culminated in this high-security complex, surrounded by a 2-kilometer-long and 11-meter-high wall designed to withstand car bombs and potential assaults. Inmates, many of whom are gang members, live under constant surveillance, crammed into cells with no privacy, no fresh air, and no visits from the outside world. The conditions inside are brutal, with reports of inmates subjected to torture and, in some cases, death at the hands of guards. The political landscape that led to the creation of this prison is marked by Bukele's controversial strategies. His administration has been accused of negotiating with gangs to reduce violence in exchange for benefits to imprisoned members. Although Bukele denies these allegations, the significant drop in murder rates during his term raises questions about the methods used to achieve such results. The state of emergency declared in March 2022 granted the government sweeping powers, leading to mass arrests and prolonged pretrial detentions. This crackdown has resulted in overcrowded prisons and severe human rights violations, with many detainees held without proper legal proceedings. International human rights organizations have condemned the conditions in El Salvador's prisons. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and other groups have highlighted the lack of due process, overcrowding, and inhumane treatment of prisoners. Reports of mass graves for deceased inmates and the use of solitary confinement as punishment underscore the severe conditions within these facilities. Bukele's policies have significantly impacted El Salvador's social and economic landscape. While the murder rate has declined, the extreme measures taken have also doubled the rate of extreme poverty. Poor communities already vulnerable have been disproportionately affected by the wave of arrests, with many unable to afford legal assistance. The government's heavy-handed approach has led to a sharp decline in democratic freedoms, with Bukele's administration undermining constitutional limits to extend his rule. The prison, known as the Center for the Confinement of Terrorism, COT, is a massive complex where up to 100 prisoners share cramped cells. The prisoners live under constant observation with no opportunities for outdoor activities or visits from family and friends. The harsh conditions and the lack of basic human rights have drawn criticism from various human rights groups. Reports indicate that up to 1/3 of the prisoners might be innocent, caught in the government's broad and aggressive sweep to curb gang violence. The broader implications of Bukele's approach to security are profound. While the streets of El Salvador may have become safer, the cost to human rights and democratic principles is significant. The international community must recognize and address these manipulative practices, advocating for a more balanced approach that addresses the root causes of gang violence without compromising human dignity. This prison is not just a facility for detaining criminals. It represents a broader societal issue. The conditions within the prison, such as constant surveillance, lack of privacy, and harsh treatment, reflect the government's stringent stance on crime and security. These measures, while effective in reducing immediate violence, have raised significant ethical and human rights concerns. The construction and operation of this prison highlight the tension between security and human rights. While Bukele's administration claims success in reducing crime, the methods employed have led to widespread human rights violations. The harsh conditions within the prison, including torture and overcrowding, have been condemned by international organizations. The government's focus on containment rather than rehabilitation suggests a short-term solution to a long-term problem. El Salvador's approach to dealing with gang violence, through mass incarceration and stringent security measures, has resulted in the largest prison in the world, symbolizing the extreme measures taken to ensure public safety. However, the ethical implications of such an approach cannot be overlooked. The international community must advocate for more humane and balanced solutions that uphold human rights while addressing the root causes of violence. The current state of El Salvador's prisons, marked by overcrowding, harsh conditions, and significant human rights violations, underscores the need for a comprehensive review of the country's security policies. While the immediate reduction in crime rates is notable, the long-term consequences of such extreme measures on society and democratic values are concerning. The global community must support efforts to find a more balanced approach that ensures security without compromising human rights and democratic principles.